And then we're at home against the Arizona Cardinals, where the prodigal son returns, Marvin Harrison Jr., the player that I thought we were going to be so bad 2 years ago that we were going to be able to draft him, but we weren't that bad. But I think that Marvin Harrison Jr. probably goes off. I think they have some sort of ceremony for Marvin Harrison. His jersey's already retired. He's already in the Hall of Fame. He will obviously be at the game. Hopefully, they do something for him. Might just kind of acknowledge, all he's done for the city and for the team. Super Bowl champion, all pro, broken a lot of records. One of my favorite players all time. He's the only jersey that I own is Marvin Harrison. So obviously one of my favorite players. And I think that's going to be a W.
That was a weird game, wasn't it? Like just off the rip, we get reports that Anthony Richardson damn near blinded himself with the rubber bands. Javarius Ward gets hurt by Drew Ogletree in warm-ups and has a concussion and misses a game. Jacoby Brissett has a revenge game of his life and has the almost a career day. Yeah. Anyway, let's talk about it. The Colts won 31-27 against the Arizona Cardinals against a oddly close game, I would say, especially when you consider Kyler Murray did not play. Now, if we're going to start with some of the positives, I would say Josh Downs kind of getting into this is the second week in a row where Josh Downs has kind of showed who he was last year and what he can become as far as being like a legit third down weapon, first down weapon, like all around wide receiver. Pound for pound, the toughest player on the team. And we're probably going to say this for the rest of the year. Like Tyler Warren is just going to be a special player on this team. Shane Steichen knows exactly what he wants to do with him as a pass catcher, as a run blocker, as a runner. He's going to find everything that he can do to get Tyler Warren into the best place, into the best position to make plays on the field. He's already in the conversation for being the best tight end in the NFL. I believe he leads all tight ends in reception yards. He's just a dominant player at this point. It was also nice to have Alec Pierce back, which led to A.D. Mitchell being a healthy scratch with Ashton Doolin kind of showing what he could do. We'll probably talk a little bit more about A.D. Mitchell as the week goes through, but Alec Pierce just does what he does, and he looked impressive. Once again, Jonathan Taylor is showing why he is the best running back in the league. I'm kind of confused as to why in all the preseason rankings he was outside of the top five and sometimes even out of the top 10 when he was a top five rusher last year. Like just last year, he was third in the league, or he was fourth or fifth in the league in rushing. And people are starting to be like surprised that he is playing at an elite level. Like he was legit playing at an elite level last year. People are just paying attention more for some reason, but he's the best running back in the league, and there's no. I'm done debating it now. Like it is what it is. You can hate it, you can love it, you can agree, you can disagree, but you're wrong. Jonathan Taylor is the best running back in the NFL. And the offense has been improving throughout the season. At the beginning of the season, although we were scoring a lot of points, we were putting up a lot of field goals and not touchdowns. Now things have kind of flipped on its head. We're starting to score way more touchdowns, and it's showing on the scoreboard and in a lot of these dominant wins. Like our point differential is out of this world. Like we're head and shoulders above the second best team as far as scoring points.
You made it this far. If you have not liked the video at this point, what are you waiting for? Just like the video. Hit the like button right now. I'm talking to you. Make sure you like the video and subscribe and drop a comment. All that stuff. This is a threat. Not a threat, a warning. But it could be a threat. Just do it.
And when it comes to the defensive side of the ball, when it comes to the positives, I will say it was nice to see that Jermaine Pratt just kind of came off of the couch, not off the couch, but came off of the Raiders and was able to come in and lead the team in tackles. Like, I'm not saying that this is who he's going to be. I think give him a little bit more time. Like, I'm not going to judge him too harshly on this game because I think he still needs a few reps and still needs to get comfortable with this defense and this scheme. Although the scheme is the same, but I'm sure there's little differences that he has to catch up with. But I think our linebacker core is going to get better and better. And if Zaire Franklin is the worst linebacker on your team, then I feel like your defense is pretty solid. And speaking of Zaire, he's kind of got to get his head in the game. Like he had a weird late hit call that kept a drive going that it was more like an EJ Speed play. Like we used to see EJ Speed kind of make those boneheaded plays out there where you just hitting people late for no reason. And to see Zaire Franklin do it, it looked weird. And I don't expect him to do that anymore, like going forward. I just think that was just an airheaded play on his part. It was also nice to see Mekhi Blackman get another interception. That's two interceptions in the last two games. Now, obviously, the secondary didn't play, well, the cornerbacks did not play as well this game, letting Jacoby Brissett light us up with no Marvin Harrison Jr. Mekhi Blackman, Edwards, Lamont, like seeing all those three guys out there, it's almost the same thing that we saw happen last year, where a lot of the young cornerbacks got a lot more playing time and a lot more experience. Obviously, I'd rather have Ward out there. Obviously, I'd rather have Kenny Moore out there and Jalen Jones out there and Mike Hilton even out there. But when Blackman, Edwards, and Lamont are out there now, kind of having a trial by fire where, all right, you're going to be one on one against Marvin Harrison Jr., deal with it. You're going to be one on one with the Cardinals' other second best receiver, deal with it, figure it out. That's how you get better. That's how you improve. Iron sharpens iron, that kind of stuff. And it sucks that someone like Jacoby Brissett was able to light us up defensively, but in the long run, when Ward is healthy, when Moore is healthy, when Jalen Jones is healthy, when Mike Hilton is healthy, and you have, say, Mekhi Blackman as your fourth cornerback, or Lamont as your fourth cornerback, or Edwards as your fourth cornerback, that's a very solid cornerback room. Because now you have a fourth cornerback that has first team reps going against fourth and fifth string wide receivers. Think about how that's going to work out. It was also nice to see Quiddy Pay kind of make a play. Like Latu's kind of been getting in there, forcing a lot of pressures. DeForest Buckner's been getting double teamed pretty much all season. And it's someone on this other side of the defensive line is going to have to step up, whether it be Quiddy Pay or someone else. But Latu and Buckner are doing their job. But the other guys who are one on one, they have to win their matchups. They got to win their reps and they have to get sacks because Latu's bringing the pressure. Buckner's taking up two people. Someone else is one on one and they have to make more plays. Now, when it comes to some of the negatives, there weren't too many outside of the defensive backfield. And like I said, I think eventually that'll turn into a net positive going forward. But offensively, this was kind of not one of the best offensive performances we've had. I felt like this was the most negative plays we've had all season as far as like runs in the backfield and sacks and turnovers. It wasn't outrageous or glaring, but it was something that I noticed a little bit because we normally don't have negative plays. I almost felt like a bad version of Danny Jones. I felt like the bad version of Danny Dimes was showing up today and he was kind of going to spiral a little bit. But I felt like Shane Steichen kind of protected him with his play calling as far as like, all right, we're going to run the ball a little bit more. We're going to have some quarterback design plays. We're going to have some easy throws, scheme up open wide receivers. And it just kind of calms him down, kind of gets his head back into the game where it's just like, all right, I don't have to, my brain is not fried after that weird interception. I can just kind of hit these easy routes, hit these easy throws, easy reads, run the ball, give Jonathan Taylor the rock, let him do his thing and I can run the ball and I'm just not going to mess it up. Now, that's kind of something that you want to see happen. You want to see a offensive coach reel it in for his quarterback to help him and prevent him from spiraling throughout the game. All in all, another great win, another win at home against the NFC team. I feel like I'm a broken record here, but as far as giving up all those passing yards to Jacoby Brissett, it looks bad now. But when this secondary is healthy and all these guys that were starters today get pushed down the depth chart, we're going to look back and say, wow, our defensive backfield is now the biggest strength on this team because these guys have so much experience, because these guys got so much playtime, because they know the defensive scheme a lot more. Now you have someone like Javarius Ward who's not going to get thrown at, Kenny Moore who's going to make plays out there, Jalen Jones who's had the same kind of trial by fire last year, back in there with more experience, Mekhi Black, like all these guys they're just going to continue to get better. That's all that's going to happen with these guys out there on the field. And it's good that we got a win. It's great to kind of, have a trial by fire and come out victorious, but that's what happened today. And something that I was kind of curious about listening to the broadcast is Jonathan Gannon and Shane Steichen were both on the Philadelphia Eagles as coordinators. And I'm curious to see what their conversations have been like the last two weeks. Because 2 weeks ago, A.D. Mitchell had the bad fumble, and A.D. Mitchell has pretty much been kicked out of rotation. And then last week, a Cardinal had another fumble, and Jonathan Gannon kind of responded in a negative way that he ended up getting fined. So part of me wonders, did they talk after the A.D. Mitchell fumble, or did they talk about it the first time after, the next week when the Cardinals player fumbled? Or did they just not communicate about it at all? Because they seem, based on the broadcast, like they're pretty close and they have a good relationship. And I would have loved to be a fly on the wall for the conversations that they had about those two plays by those two separate players on both of their teams. But yeah, another great win. They're on TikTok calling me soft. That's the only reason I brought that up. But like I said, another great win. Sole possession of first place in the AFC South. Best record in the AFC as a whole. We just have to keep these games rolling. We just have to keep these games going, not turn the ball over, stay ahead of the sticks, and stay healthy. Like, put the rubber bands down, pay attention in practice, and let's keep this ball rolling. Let's keep this ball rolling. I like what I say. I love what I say out here. So make sure you guys like and comment, subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get to 900 subscribers before the end of the season. If you guys hit that subscribe button, I'd really appreciate it. And I'll see you on the next one every Monday, 7 in the morning, talking Colts. Let's go. Peace.
Thanks for watching, babe. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel.
You made it this far. If you have not liked the video at this point, what are you waiting for? Just like the video. Hit the like button right now. I'm talking to you. Make sure you like the video and subscribe and drop a comment. All that stuff. This is a threat. Not a threat, a warning. But it could be a threat. Just do it.